The space station Orion 9 floated in the silence of the stars, a lonely metal giant turning slowly near a dying blue sun. Inside, the air was cold and the corridors were empty. Only one human worked there, a quiet mechanic named Evan Hale. People whispered about him. They said he was cursed. They said anyone who touched him never lived to tell the story. Evan didn't care. He worked alone, repaired the engines, and kept his distance. His hands were rough, his eyes pale like winter glass. Sometimes when the lights flickered, strange silver lines glowed under his skin, like liquid light running through his veins. But no one ever saw it for long. That night the silence was broken. An alarm rang across the station. A royal ship was approaching. The display read, "Incoming. Starblood-class cruiser. Royal fleet of the Vampire Dominion." Evan frowned. Royals never came this far from their world. He put down his wrench and wiped his hands. His heart thudded once, and slow and heavy, as the docking bay lights turned red. Through the glass he saw the ship land. Its hull shimmered like black crystal, covered with silver runes. From it stepped soldiers in dark armor, their eyes glowing crimson under their helmets. And in the middle of them walked her, Princess Lyria of the Stars, the vampire princess, the daughter of eternal night. Her beauty was like ice and flame, pale skin that shimmered faintly, long white hair, and eyes like a dying sunset, red fading into gold. Her voice when she spoke carried command even in silence. "Where is your station, Commander?" she asked. The guards bowed. But there was no commander here. The station was under repair. Evan stood at the edge of the hangar, unsure if he should step forward. One guard pointed at him. "Only one human, Your Highness." A mechanic. Her gaze turned to him, and for a moment everything stopped. The flickering lights froze mid-glow. The hum of the engines faded. Evan felt her eyes pierce through him like cold fire. And then, something impossible happened. Her heart, which had not beaten for 1,000 years, moved. A single pulse. She blinked, startled. She didn't understand what she felt, but she felt him. A strange, bright warmth rising from the quiet human who dared to look back at her without fear. Evan's voice was calm. "No command here, Your Highness. I'm maintaining the power cores. You'll have to wait until—" Before he could finish, the lights exploded in a shower of sparks. The station shook violently. A plasma conduit burst, throwing fire through the air. The guards moved fast, shielding the princess, but one section of the ceiling broke loose. Evan didn't think. He ran. He grabbed her, pulling her away just as a burning beam crashed down. The heat scorched the floor behind them. He covered her with his body, his hand pressing against the metal. His arm glowed faintly, the silver veins under his skin lighting up again. The fire froze mid-air, then vanished, swallowed by a strange pulse from his hand. Lyria stared at him, shocked. "What are you?" she whispered. He stood breathing hard. "Just a mechanic, ma'am." She saw the silver marks fade back under his skin. No human had that kind of power. No human should have survived that heat. Yet he stood, calm and silent. The guards rushed forward, ready to strike. "Step away from the princess." Evan didn't move. "You're safe now." "The system's unstable. You should return to your ship." But Lyria raised her hand, stopping her soldiers. Her voice was quiet but firm. "No, he saved me." Let him speak. Everyone froze. The air around her seemed colder now, filled with tension. She stepped closer, studying him. Her voice softened, and not royal anymore, but curious. "You have no fear of me?" Evan's lips twitched slightly. "Fear doesn't fix engines." For the first time in centuries, Princess Lyria smiled. A small, strange smile that confused even her. She felt something she hadn't felt since before the wars. Life. But behind her calm face, questions burned. Why did this human's presence awaken her blood? Why did his touch make her heart move? And why did his eyes look like he had lived 1,000 years already? When she turned away, the glow under his skin flared again, hidden beneath his sleeve. A faint hum filled the air, something not human at all. In that quiet, broken space station, something ancient had awakened. The stars outside flickered once, as if watching. The next day, the space station Orion 9 floated in silence again. The fire was gone, but the smell of smoke still hung in the air. Workers repaired the damaged bay, whispering about the strange human who had saved the vampire princess. They said it was impossible. No human could survive plasma fire. No one dared to speak to Evan, but they all watched him with fear. His hands were steady as he repaired the power conduits, yet under the dim light, something glowed faintly beneath his skin, like thin rivers of silver moving through his veins. From the royal cruiser, Princess Lyraya watched him through the glass. She had dismissed her guards, but her mind refused to rest. Her heart, once cold and still, beat softly now. It felt wrong, dangerous, but also alive. She whispered to herself, "What kind of human can burn and not die?" That night she left her royal chamber quietly. Her boots made no sound as she walked through the empty halls. The lights flickered. The station's systems were still unstable. Following the soft hum of energy, she found him deep inside the engine bay, working alone. He didn't turn around. "You shouldn't be here, Your Highness." His voice was calm but tired. "I had questions," she said. "About yesterday." He kept working, tightening a bolt. Everyone has questions. Few want the answers. Lyraya stepped closer. The hum around him grew louder. "You're not afraid of me?" "Why?" He turned then, slowly. His pale eyes met hers, and for a moment she forgot to breathe. There was no fear in his eyes, only sadness. "I've seen worse things than vampires," he said softly. Her lips curved faintly. "You speak like someone who has lived many lifetimes." "Maybe I have," he murmured. For a moment, silence filled the bay, the kind of silence that feels alive, like the stars were listening. Lyraya's eyes moved to his arm, where faint silver lines shone through his sleeve. "I saw that light again," she said. "When you saved me, that wasn't human power. What is it?" He looked away. "It's better if you don't know." "I am a princess of the vampire dominion," she said proudly. "I decide what I should know." Evan sighed, wiped his hands, and leaned against the cold wall. "Then remember this, princess. Some knowledge doesn't give power. It gives pain." But she didn't move. Her golden red eyes glowed faintly. "Pain never scared me." He gave a small, dry laugh. "You'd be the first." Something cracked behind them, a pipe leaking steam. The vapor surrounded them like mist. She stepped even closer. "Evan Hale," she said slowly. "The human no one dares to touch. Tell me why." He looked straight into her eyes. The glow beneath his skin flared, bright and cold. The lights around them dimmed. Machines trembled softly as if afraid. "I was part of something long ago," he said. "A project that should never have existed. They called it Project Starblood." Lyraya's eyes widened. The word hit her like lightning. Starblood. "That's an ancient myth," she whispered. "A power that burned galaxies. It was said to belong to the gods." He smiled bitterly. "It's no myth. They tried to create it again, now inside me." He lifted his sleeve. Silver veins glowed from his wrist to his shoulder, pulsing like light trapped under skin. "When I bleed," he said quietly, "the blood shines. It kills everything that touches it, even air. That's why no one comes close. That's why they fear me." Lyraya's throat went dry. "And yesterday, when I touched you, you didn't die," he finished softly. "That's what confuses me too." They stood in silence. The sound of engines filled the air like a heartbeat. She stepped closer again, ignoring her fear. "Your power didn't destroy me. It protected me. Or it's waiting," he said darkly. "Sometimes the curse is slow," but Lyraya only smiled faintly. "You call it a curse? I call it a mystery." He looked at her, truly looked, and for the first time she saw the exhaustion in his eyes. "You shouldn't care. Royals don't mix with broken humans." She tilted her head slightly, amused. "Then maybe I'm broken too." For a second the air between them felt alive, a current of energy, dangerous yet gentle. Suddenly the lights flickered again. The ground shook. Alarms screamed, "Power surge!" Evan shouted, running to the control panel. Sparks flew from the ceiling. He hit the emergency breaker. Nothing worked. Lyraya grabbed his arm, and the moment she touched him, the surge stopped. The entire bay went quiet. Even the engines hummed softly again like tamed beasts. Evan froze. It stopped it," she blinked, surprised. "I didn't do anything." "You did," he whispered. "My energy responded to you." For the first time, fear crossed his face, real fear. "You shouldn't be able to do that." Lyraya looked at him, her eyes glowing faintly. "Then maybe your curse has found its other half." Evan stepped back, his pulse racing. "Princess, you don't understand what's inside me. If the council learns this," she cut him off. "Then let them learn. I am not afraid of secrets, especially yours." Her voice was calm, but her heart beat like thunder. She didn't know why. Maybe it was madness, maybe destiny, but she couldn't walk away. Evan's eyes dimmed. "You should be afraid," he whispered. But as the stars outside flickered once more, she only smiled, soft and fearless. The next day came with silence, the kind that made even metal walls feel nervous. The space station Orion 9 floated like a ghost in the dark. Evan worked without sleep, checking every system after the strange power surge. He moved like a man used to pain, his eyes shadowed and tired. The glow under his skin still flickered, brighter now, more alive, and he didn't know why. Princess Lyraya hadn't left her quarters since the night before. She told her guards she needed silence for meditation, but her mind was anything but calm. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw his face and that human's quiet, sad gaze. When her hand had touched his power had gone silent. When everyone else feared him, her body had moved closer without thinking. Something had changed between them. That morning, the alarm screamed again. Red lights flashed. The air filled with static. Evan ran to the control deck. "What now?" he muttered, slamming his hand on the console. Outside, 3 pirate ships appeared on the radar. Their symbols, black skulls with silver fangs, meant only one thing: vampire raiders. "Not them," Evan hissed. "They'll want her." He turned and ran toward the royal quarters. Inside, Lyraya was already awake, her crimson eyes glowing faintly. "They're here for me," she said calmly, like she expected it. Evan grabbed a weapon from the wall and a plasma torch turned into a blade. "You can stay calm if you want, but I'm not letting them take you." Her lips curved faintly. "Protecting a royal now, human?" "Protecting a person," he said flatly. "Titles don't matter in a fight." Before she could reply, the ship shook hard. The pirates had docked. The sound of metal claws digging into the hull echoed through the corridors. Evan stepped forward. "Stay behind me." "I don't hide," she said proudly, her eyes burning brighter. The door exploded open. Smoke filled the hallway. 3 armored raiders stepped in, their fangs bared, plasma guns ready. Their leader, a tall vampire with golden tattoos, grinned. Well, the lost princess. Hand her over, human, and maybe I'll let you die quickly." Evan didn't answer. He moved faster than human eyes should. The torchblade slashed across the air, melting one gun in half. Sparks flew. The raider swung a metal arm at him, but Evan blocked it, barehanded. The impact should have broken his bones, but instead, light flared under his skin. Silver light. The vampire screamed as his arm burned away, skin turning to ash. "Impossible," the others shouted. "What is he?" Evan's voice was low and deadly. "Not your concern." But the fight wasn't over. One raider aimed a plasma rifle at him. The shot hit Evan's chest, the energy exploding like a sun inside the room. He crashed against the wall, smoke rising from his jacket. Lyraya's heart stopped. She ran to him, kneeling beside his still body. "Evan!" she shouted. "Stay with me." He opened his eyes weakly. His breath came slow. "Don't touch me," he whispered. "My blood, it'll burn you." She didn't listen. She tore a piece of her royal cloak and pressed it against his wound. But when the fabric touched his blood, it caught fire, glowing silver and burning into dust. Her eyes widened. His veins were shining. The same light she'd seen before, stronger now, wild and uncontrolled. His body trembled as if fighting against itself. "Evan!" she cried again. He grabbed her wrist weakly. "Stay away." But she refused. Her instincts, ancient and royal, took over. She was vampire. She was born to drink power, and this time she made a deadly choice. Her fangs extended, glinting in the silver light. She leaned forward and bit his neck. The moment her teeth pierced his skin, her body convulsed. It wasn't blood that entered her, it was light. It burned like the sun, tearing through her veins. She gasped, eyes wide, as her body lifted from the ground. Her wings, hidden for centuries, burst open, glowing like glass. Evan shouted, "Stop! He'll die!" But she couldn't stop. The light was too strong. Flashes of memory flooded her mind. Stars being born, galaxies burning, ancient voices whispering starblood. And then silence. The pirates, seeing the explosion of light, ran in terror. The station trembled. For a moment, Orion 9 glowed like a star. When the light faded, Lyraya lay still beside him. Her hair floated weightless, glowing faintly silver. The color of her eyes had changed, no longer red. Now they shone like his, pale and silver blue. Evan touched her cheek carefully. Lyraya. Her lips moved weakly. It didn't kill me. He stared in disbelief. No, it changed you. She opened her eyes, a faint smile on her lips. Maybe your curse needed someone who wasn't afraid. Evan sat there in shock as she slowly sat up, her skin glowing faintly. The wound on his chest had healed. Her bite had done what no machine could. For the first time in his life, Evan didn't feel pain, but deep inside him, something whispered, something old and dangerous. You have awakened the star bond. He didn't know what it meant. But he knew one thing. The universe had just changed. Darkness surrounded Princess Lyraya. At first she thought she was dead, floating in a sea of silence. No sound, no heartbeat, only light. Soft silver light wrapping around her like gentle waves. She opened her eyes slowly. The ceiling above her shimmered faintly, like starlight reflecting on water. She wasn't in the station anymore. She was inside a medical pod, deep inside her royal cruiser. The soft hum of machines echoed through the room. Then she heard it, a heartbeat. But it wasn't the usual cold, slow rhythm of a vampire's. It was fast, warm, human. She sat up, gasping. Her heart was beating. Her guards rushed in, eyes wide. Your Highness. You're awake! Lyraya blinked at them. The lights reflected off her eyes, silver, not red. Her reflection in the glass showed something impossible. Her skin glowed faintly, veins shimmering under her pale flesh like threads of liquid light. What happened to me? She whispered. The guards bowed nervously. I don't know, Princess. You were unconscious after the attack. The human, he brought you back here. Her heart skipped again. Evan. She stood, ignoring their protests, and walked out of the pod room. Her bare feet touched the cold metal floor. Every step she took made the air shimmer faintly, like reality itself bent around her. The ship's systems flickered when she passed, sensors confused by her new energy. In the next chamber, she found Evan sitting quietly on a bench, his shirt torn, his face pale but calm. The moment he saw her, he froze. Lyraya, he whispered. You shouldn't be up yet. She stopped in front of him. You should be dead, she said softly. And so should I, but we're not. He looked away. You bit me. You were dying, she said. And now, he muttered, you're something else. Lyraya frowned. What do you mean? He pointed at her reflection in the glass panel beside them. She turned calm and gasped. Her hair shimmered silver white, her pupils glowing faintly like stars. Her fangs were gone. Her eyes were no longer vampire red, and they were bright, almost human. What am I? She whispered. Evan stood slowly. You're what they feared would return. The Starblood Queen. She looked at him in confusion. That name, I've heard it in the old songs. But it was only a myth, he shook his head. It was real. Long ago, vampires and humans weren't enemies. They were connected. A human with star blood and a vampire with royal blood could join powers. Together they could heal planets or destroy them. Her lips parted. And now, he sighed. Now that bond exists again and through us. Before she could answer, alarms began to scream across the ship. The guards ran in, shouting, Princess, the council has contacted us. They detected your energy from the capital. They demand an explanation. Lyraya's expression hardened. Of course they did. She walked to the main comm room, ignoring their fear. Her energy pulsed with every heartbeat, soft waves of silver light brushing the walls. When the screen activated, the faces of the Vampire Council appeared, 7 ancient lords with eyes like burning coals. Princess Lyraya, the High Lord spoke. Your energy signature violates the covenant. Explain yourself, she bowed slightly. There was an attack. I was injured. The human, Evan Hale, saved me. The High Lord's eyes narrowed. Saved you? Reports say you absorbed his essence. Your blood no longer registers as pure. You have changed. Her voice stayed calm. Change is not always corruption. Silence. The Lord hissed. That human carries forbidden power. The Starblood cannot exist again. You have become a threat to our dominion. Evan stepped forward, his tone quiet but firm. She's no threat. If anyone's dangerous, it's me. The council roared in anger. Human, you dare speak before the elders? Lyraya moved before he could reply. Yes, he dares, because I stand beside him. The council froze. Her eyes glowed brighter silver light filling the screen. He risked his life to protect me when no one else did. And in doing so, we have created something the universe itself cannot deny. My blood and his are now one. The High Lord's voice dropped to a whisper. Do you realize what you're saying? That bond could burn entire worlds. Lyria smiled softly. Or heal them. The connection cut suddenly. Communication jammed from the other side. The guards looked terrified. Princess. They will send the Royal Armada. Evan turned to her. They'll kill us both. She looked at him quietly. Then we run, he blinked. Run from an empire? Her smile was small but fierce. From fear itself. They ran through the corridors together, alarms echoing. When they reached the hangar, she turned to him, eyes glowing bright silver. You said humans and vampires were once one? Then maybe it's time to remind the stars. The hangar doors opened, light flooding in. A small ship waited, black and silver, shaped like an arrow. Evan hesitated. If we leave, there's no going back. She stepped closer, her voice calm and steady. You think there's still a way back after what we've become? He looked at her, then nodded once. Then let's fly. As the ship lifted off, the stars ahead pulsed, as if recognizing something ancient had returned. In the capital, the Vampire Council watched in silence. The High Lord whispered to the others, The star blood awakens, and this time it wears a human face. The small ship sliced through the darkness of space like a silver arrow. Stars streaked past the windows, leaving long trails of light. Inside the cockpit, Evan Hale sat at the controls, hands steady but his jaw tight. Behind him, Princess Lyria stood near the viewing glass, watching the galaxy turn below them. Her silver-white hair glowed in the dim cabin light, and her new heartbeat echoed softly, the rhythm of something half human, half immortal. They had been running for 3 days. No sleep, no rest. Every few hours, the radar flashed red. The Vampire Armada was close again. Evan muttered under his breath. They never give up, do they? Lyria smiled faintly. You did burn half their sensors when we escaped. They won't stop until they have answers. He turned his head, his pale eyes glinting. They don't want answers. They want me dead and you erased. She leaned closer, her voice calm but firm. Then let them come, he raised an eyebrow. That's easy to say for someone who used to command fleets. Her lips curved slightly. You think I'm helpless? I think, he said slowly, you're still changing. He wasn't wrong. Every day she felt something new inside her. Sometimes it was warmth, like sunlight on her skin. Other times it was power, heavy, endless, almost frightening. She could hear things beyond normal sound now. The pulse of stars, the hum of distant engines, even the quiet rhythm of Evan's heart, and she could feel his energy inside her, a silver flame connected to her own. It was alive. Suddenly the radar beeped again, sharp and fast. Evan's expression changed. They've found us. The ship shook violently as laser fire streaked past the hull. Outside, 2 crimson warships of the Vampire Dominion appeared, large, sharp, and glowing with red light. 2 Blood Reapers, Evan said. They're faster. Lyria placed her hand on the control console. Then we'll be smarter. Before he could stop her, her eyes flashed silver. The entire cockpit lit up. Her energy spread through the ship like living lightning, merging with its systems. The engines roared louder, the shields thickened, and the small vessel jumped forward like a comet breaking its chain. Evan gripped the controls. What did you just do? Borrowed some power, she said calmly. From you. From me? She gave a small smile. Your Starblood and my royal bond. They feed each other. The red ships fired again, plasma beams cutting across space. Lyria closed her eyes. The silver glow around her body expanded like wings, pure energy. The beams hit the glow and vanished into nothing. Evan watched, stunned. You just deflected it, she finished. Don't thank me yet. It hurts, her knees trembled. Evan stood and caught her before she fell. You shouldn't have done that. She looked up at him, eyes glowing faintly. If I didn't, you'd be dead. We're connected, remember? He hesitated, his voice quiet. You sound too calm about that. I have to be, she whispered. Because you won't be. The ship jolted again. The pursuers were closing in. Evan pulled her toward the co-pilot seat. Buckle in. We're going through the nebula of ash. Her eyes widened. That's a death zone. Exactly, he said. No sane pilot follows anyone through it. The ship turned sharply and dove into the thick, glowing clouds. Purple lightning flashed outside. The hull groaned as magnetic storms pulled at the engines. Inside, Lyraya gripped the seat. "You've done this before?" "Once," he said. "Didn't go great." "Comforting," she muttered. The storm howled around them. Systems flickered. The ship trembled under the pressure. Evan gritted his teeth, forcing the controls forward. "Hold on!" They broke through the lightning field, diving deeper into the nebula. Behind them, one of the pursuing ships exploded, swallowed by a storm vortex. Lyraya looked back, shocked. "You were right. They won't follow." Evan smiled weakly. "Told you." But before relief could settle, his hand slipped from the controls. His skin glowed again, the same burning silver veins spreading up his arms. He gasped, holding his chest. Lyraya rushed to him. "Evan, what's happening?" He groaned. "It's the connection. It's growing stronger." She grabbed his hand, the glow passed into her. She felt the pain, the fire under the skin like stars exploding inside her veins. But she didn't pull away. He shouted, "Let go!" "No," she cried. "We're in this together." The energy burst between them, a flash of light that filled the whole cabin. When it faded, they both fell back, breathing hard. Silence. Then she looked at him, his eyes no longer pale blue. They were shining, bright silver like the stars themselves. She whispered, "Evan." "Your eyes." He blinked, confused. "What about them?" "They're glowing like mine." He looked at his reflection in the glass. "That's not possible," she smiled softly. "It seems we've both become impossible." Outside the window, the nebula light shimmered. The two of them sat there, breathing, the silver glow fading slowly between their hands. Lyraya spoke first, her tone serious. "The council won't stop. They'll send more. The High Lord will come himself." Evan looked ahead, his voice calm but strong. "Then we'll face him together." She tilted her head. "You sound almost royal when you say that." He gave a small smile. "Maybe your arrogance is contagious." She laughed softly, the first real laugh he had ever heard from her. But far behind them, deep in the nebula's shadow, another ship appeared. Silent. Hidden. On its hull a mark glowed, the symbol of the High Lord. He watched their path through the mist and whispered, "Let them run. The hunt has only begun." The nebula of ash stretched endlessly around them, a sea of glowing clouds, purple storms, and quiet lightning. The small ship drifted through the mist like a wounded bird. Inside, the air was still. Only the soft hum of the engines broke the silence. Evan Hale lay on the metal floor near the controls, his body trembling. His skin glowed faintly silver, the veins of light pulsing faster with every heartbeat. The glow wasn't calm anymore. It was wild, chaotic, alive. Princess Lyraya knelt beside him, holding his head gently in her lap. Her eyes, bright silver and warm, filled with fear. "Evan, stay with me," she whispered. "Breathe." He gritted his teeth, sweat rolling down his neck. "I can't hold it anymore. What's happening to you?" He forced a weak smile. "The curse. It's waking up." Lyraya's voice shook. "Curse?" He nodded slowly, pain twisting his face. "Starblood isn't just power. It's punishment. It was made to destroy itself if it ever bonded with another living being. My body was never meant to share it." Her hands tightened. "But you shared it with me." He opened his eyes. They glowed silver white now, bright enough to reflect in hers. "Exactly. That's why it's unstable. The Starblood is trying to decide who should survive." Lyraya froze. "You mean one of us will die?" He didn't answer. Her heart sank. "No," she said quietly. "I won't let that happen." He gave a dry laugh. "You don't get to decide this, princess." The universe already did, but she refused to listen. She pressed her hand to his chest. The silver light flared between them, warm at first, then painful. Her body shook, but she didn't move away. "Lyraya, stop." He shouted. She whispered, "I'm not leaving you. If your curse kills one of us, it'll have to kill us both." Her determination burned brighter than the light itself. For a moment, the glow softened. The chaotic energy slowed, syncing with her heartbeat. Evan gasped for air, his pain easing. The ship's light steadied. The engines purred softly again. He looked up at her, the woman who once ruled 1,000 worlds, now crying quietly, holding him like he was something fragile. "You're insane." he whispered. She smiled through her tears. So are you for saving me. He wanted to reply, but the comm light blinked, red. A transmission. Lariah helped him sit up, and he pressed the control panel weakly. A hologram appeared, a tall figure cloaked in shadows, eyes burning crimson. "Hello, my daughter," said a cold, deep voice. Lariah froze. "Father." Evan's breath caught. "That's the High Lord," she finished softly. Her father's image smiled faintly, but it wasn't kind. "You have shamed your bloodline. You bonded with a human. You carry tainted energy. You are no longer my daughter." Lariah's voice trembled. "You don't understand. The Starblood is not evil, it's alive. It can heal, not just destroy." The High Lord's eyes narrowed. "It killed your ancestors and it will kill you. The curse cannot be controlled. That human is poison and you are already infected." Evan's hand tightened into a fist. "You talk like I'm a disease." "You are," the High Lord said coldly. "A mistake made by men who thought they could steal the power of the gods." He raised his hand. Energy crackled in the hologram. "Run if you wish. The Armada follows your signal. Soon both of you will be dust." The hologram vanished. Silence returned. Evan slumped against the wall, breathing hard. "He's right. You should leave me behind." Lariah turned sharply. "Don't ever say that again." "You don't understand," he said weakly. "If I lose control again, everything around me dies." "You'll die." She stepped closer, her voice low and trembling. "Then I'll die beside you." He looked up at her, disbelief in his eyes. "Why would you do that?" "Because," she said, "when I bit you, I saw your memories. You weren't made to destroy, you were made to protect. You tried to stop them, didn't you?" He nodded slowly. "They used me to power weapons. I broke free before they could finish the war. Since then, everyone who touches me burns." Her eyes softened. "Then let me be the one who doesn't." She knelt beside him again, pressing her forehead to his. The silver light between them calmed once more, soft like moonlight instead of fire. He whispered, "What are you doing?" She smiled faintly. "Taming the storm." For a long moment, everything was quiet. The hum of the ship felt like a lullaby. Outside the window, the stars shimmered softly as if watching. Then the silence broke. A loud proximity alert screamed through the cockpit. Lariah stood instantly. "They found us." Evan forced himself up, pain still flickering in his eyes. "The High Lord's fleet." Outside, dozens of massive ships appeared, surrounding the nebula. Their red lights cut through the mist like eyes of demons. Lariah's face hardened. "If they want the Starblood, they'll have to face it." She turned toward him. "Evan, look at me." He did. She said softly, "No more running." He nodded once. "No more." Together they stepped to the window, two figures glowing silver against the red darkness of the enemy fleet. The curse inside him pulsed, but this time it didn't hurt. This time, it obeyed her. And deep inside the flagship of the High Lord, alarms began to scream. His own ship was being drained of power. The galaxy held its breath. In the cold black sea of stars, the vampire armada formed a crimson circle around the tiny silver ship, two beings against an empire. Inside that ship, Evan Hale stood weak but unbroken. The glow under his skin pulsed softly, no longer wild but steady, as if waiting. Beside him stood Princess Lariah, the last royal of the Dominion, her silver-white hair floating in the low gravity, her eyes shining like twin stars. Outside, her father's voice echoed across the communication channels, deep, powerful, and cold. "Lariah of the stars, you have defied your blood. You will surrender the human and return to face judgment." She pressed the comm switch. Her voice was calm, too calm. "I will not return." Silence followed, the kind that made whole fleets hesitate. Then came her father's furious growl. "You shame your ancestors. You choose a cursed human over your own kind?" Evan looked down, guilt shadowing his face. "Maybe he's right," he whispered. Lariah turned to him, eyes blazing. "Don't you dare say that," he shook his head. "Because of me, you're hunted. Because of me, your people. Because of you." She interrupted softly. "I learned what it means to feel alive." Her words struck like lightning. For the first time, the crew of the Armada hesitated, whispers rising through the channels. The princess who never felt, who never loved, now stood defending a human. She looked out the window, her gaze steady. Father, you always told me power means control. But I've learned real power means choice. The High Lord's voice turned colder. Then choose your death. The fleet began to move. Thousands of cannons charged, lighting the void red. Evan stepped forward. Get behind me. Lariah frowned. What are you doing? He smiled faintly. Ending it. His hand glowed bright silver, light spilling from his fingertips. The entire ship trembled. The curse. I can release it. It'll take them all down. She grabbed his arm, terrified. It will take you too. He met her eyes. Then at least you'll live. No, she whispered. Not without you. Before he could argue, she pressed her hand against his heart, her energy flaring to life. Their powers intertwined instantly, light and shadow mixing, forming something neither human nor vampire. The silver light expanded, filling the ship, spreading through the walls, through the vacuum, across the fleet. In the command bridge of the High Lord, alarms screamed. Energy surge detected. Unknown wavelength. It's rewriting the codes in our cores. The High Lord rose, his crimson eyes wide. What are they doing? Out in space, the silver wave grew brighter. Ships began to lose power one by one. Weapons freezing, engines falling silent. But none exploded, none burned. Instead, the light healed. It washed away the hunger that cursed the vampire race. It softened their red eyes into pale silver, just like Lariah's. It erased the endless thirst for blood, leaving behind warmth, something close to humanity. Inside the ship, Lariah and Evan floated, surrounded by that endless glow. Their hands still touched. Evan's voice was soft. What's happening? Her eyes filled with tears. You broke the curse, not by destroying, but by healing. He smiled faintly. Then maybe I'm not the curse after all. She laughed softly, though tears rolled down her cheeks. You never were. Then his glow began to fade. No, she whispered. Stay with me. He looked at her, calm, peaceful. Lariah, this power wasn't meant to last inside me. It's yours now, her voice broke. I don't want it without you. He reached out, touching her face gently. Then carry me in it. And with that, the silver light that was Evan Hale, the human no one dared touch, spread across the stars, vanishing into every heartbeat of light. Lariah screamed his name, her power flaring in grief, but the light only grew stronger, wrapping her like a promise. When it faded, the war was over. The vampire dominion fell silent. Ships powered down. No one fought. No one bled. Every heart that had once beaten cold now thumped warm and alive. In the High Lord's ship, silence hung thick. He stared at the glowing field that covered the stars and whispered, he did what our kind never could. Weeks later, on the surface of a quiet moon, a silver garden bloomed where the wave had first touched. Lariah stood among the glowing flowers, her royal armor gone, wearing only simple fabric. She looked up at the sky, 1,000 stars shining silver now, no longer red. Her voice trembled as she whispered, Evan, if you can hear me, the stars remember you. A soft wind passed. For a moment the flowers shimmered, forming faint letters in light. Always with you. She smiled. A small, sad, beautiful smile. Then she turned, walking into the distance, her heartbeat echoing softly in the air, half human, half vampire, but something entirely new. And across the galaxy, wherever that silver light touched, peace followed. No one feared the human anymore, because the legend of the Starblood had changed forever. No longer a curse, but a promise. The vampire princess of the stars declared her mate, the human no one dared touch, and together they healed the stars.